guys, and welcome to a new tutorial. A lot of you already know the tube knit crochet pattern, and there was always the question if there's a possibility to knit one, and here it is. So here we have Woolpedia Twinkles Fresh. This is a 4-ply color gradient yarn, and it has already some jewelry stones included. So we also need knitting needles. I have here circular needles, and this is 3 millimeters. These are Knit Pro carbons, so this is quite good for your hands, and you can also knit very fast. We also need a tapestry needle and a marker later. You won't take the yarn from the middle because of the stones, so we're going to unravel this one from the outside like this. And we're going to use the endless cast on for the beginning. We have to cast on 120 stitches, and at the beginning leave a longer tail. We need this later for sewing, and you will see why. And I'm just here making a circle, and the long strand goes under the circle, and then you pull it through and you get a loop. And there you insert your knitting needle, and then you tighten. But not too tight, they should be quite loose. And then you take a second needle and you go here, under and through your stitch. And then you grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch, up, and you bring it back to your first needle. So we have now 2 stitches. One more time, under and through, grab the yarn, pull it through, under and through, and take it back, under and through, grab the yarn, pull it through, and back to the first needle. And you repeat this until you have 120 stitches. So these are my stitches, and now we have to knit the first row, and we will knit only the knit stitch. So how to do that? You're going under and through your stitch like before. Then you grab the yarn, pull it through, and then you take off the stitch, and the new stitch is on the second needle. So one more time, under, through, grab the yarn, through the stitch, and take it off, under, through, and take off. And that's what you will do for the whole row. So that's our row 1, and now we have to turn the work, and then we continue, and from now on we'll repeat this row every time. First you take off the stitch, just go under and through the stitch and take it off. So you will repeat this all the time at the beginning of each row, and then you just knit each stitch. So as before, go under, grab the yarn, go through, and take it off. And you will do this for each row from now on. This is the border, and you repeat this until your border is wide enough. I think mine will be something about 5 centimeters. This is how it looks like. So you get these pearls here. And then we will knit again. So just repeat every row like this. Take off the first stitch, and then knit every stitch. So that's my work so far, and as you can see, we have here the first bead, and I will show you how to knit this. So actually it's nothing special, you just continue knitting your stitches. You don't have to bother because of this bead, but you should now decide if you want to have it on the front or on the back. So you can just continue knitting and it will be on the back. But if you would like to have this one on the front, I would recommend to tension your work more to get a higher tension that you can work 2 stitches. So 1, then you bring this to the front, and then you knit the second like this, okay? And then you have it on the front. So you have to play with your tension to decide whether you want to have this on the back side or on the front side. And that's it. And then you just continue, nothing more. And you have here your purl. Okay, so I'm going to knit more rows, but this is not enough for me for my border. Of course you can stop here if it's enough for you. I think maybe the same width. These are here maybe 2 or 3 centimeters. I'm going to knit some more. Yeah, and then we'll meet again when this is done. So now I think my border is big enough, and now I'm going to join this to a circle or to a round, and we're going to knit in rounds from now on. And make sure that if your yarn is coming out on this side, your pearls should be on the top. So you should see now your pearls if this yarn is here. If the yarn is here, then you have to knit 1 more row. Okay, so we're going to knit the circle with the magic loop, and it works like this. We will take approximately the middle, and then you pull out here your cord, your knitting cord. Just pull it out between the stitches. Okay, like this. Okay, and you have here your needles, and this one is now your needle with the stitches, and this one is your working needle. Okay, so make sure you don't twist your work, and then we will join this. Okay, so we continue to knit the knit stitch. So we're going here also under and through the stitch, and grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch, and then take off. And this one here has to be really tight, otherwise you will have holes. So this stitch has really to be tight. Then we take our marker and put it here, and then we have to increase. We increase 1. So I'm going here in between, and here is a horizontal bar, and I'm going under this bar like this. Then I grab the yarn and pull it through and pull it up, and this is the increase. And then we continue to knit the knit stitch, okay, like before. You don't have to bother about your marker, and we join the work here. And then you just continue until you reach this magic loop part. Okay, so now we have to pull out the cord again, and we'll pull it out here. So somewhere in between, okay? And then you just continue to knit your knit stitches. This one will grow and will be bigger, and after some rows you won't need this magic loop anymore because your work will be as big as your cord. Of course, you can start with a smaller cord and then you can switch to a bigger one if you like it. But I don't like to switch the cords. It's work I don't like, but you can, of course, if you want to. So now we're here at the marker again. We knit this stitch and then you take the marker to the next needle. And now you continue to knit the knit stitches. For the next round, not row, round, we don't have increases. So you have one increasing row and one normal row. You alternate all the time between increasing once and not increasing. So just knit until the marker again, only knit stitches. So, and here we are at the marker again, and we just move the marker and increase in this row. So you have here this horizontal bar, you go under this bar, grab the yarn, and you have a new stitch, and then you continue just to knit your stitches as before. So to sum up, you continue knitting in rounds, and after the marker you have always one row with one increase, next row without increase, then again one row with an increase, and then again one row without an increase. So you alternate all the time between these two rounds, okay? And you continue doing this until your tube thing is long enough, but leave enough yarn for the border at the end. So we will have the same border as here, also at the end, but it will be of course bigger because of your increases, okay? But we'll meet again to do the border. I will show you how to do that. So just continue to knit the knit stitches and the increases after the marker. So that's our tube thing so far, and here you can see the color gradient. And here we have now the last color change. So after this knot we have only the color aqua, and we're going now to knit until the marker. So you continue to knit the knit stitch until the marker, and then we're going to finish this one here. So here we are at the marker again, and now you take off the marker and you turn your work. And from now on we're going to knit in rows again, not in rounds. So we don't increase anymore and we knit the knit stitch. But first take off the first stitch, always at the beginning of each row. Take off the first stitch and then knit the knit stitch. Okay, so this is actually the same what we did at the beginning, and then you continue to knit until the end of your row. So if you need a marker you can still leave it here, but I don't need it. I see this big hole. So we continue to knit until the end of the row, and then I will show you what to do. So this row is done, as you can see, and what we'll do now is of course turn our work. we're working in rows, so we have to turn our work after each row. And now we're doing again the same. Take off the first stitch and then knit each stitch using the knit stitch. Okay, and this is what you will do until you have some yarn left for casting off. Yeah, and that's all what you will do now until casting off. So leave enough yarn for the cast off. We will need 1 row and some yarn for sewing, because we will sew this part here later. Okay, and then we'll meet again when this one is done. So you will get here the garter stitch as your border. So this was my last row, and this is how it looks like. So I had some, and now we're going to cast off, and I'll show you how to do that. And for this we will knit all the way through 2 stitches. So I'm not going under 1 stitch, but I'm going through 2. Okay, you insert your needle through 2, and then you grab the yarn and you pull the yarn through your both stitches. Then you knit it like the knit stitch. Okay, and then you have to take this one back to the first needle. Make sure this is really loose, otherwise you will get a lot of tension in your work and you don't want to have that. So make sure it's loose. And then one more time, you go under 2 stitches, grab the yarn and knit it like the usual knit stitch. Okay, take it off and then put it back. Okay, and this is what we're going to do for the whole row until the end. Now we're done, we have only 1 stitch left, and now we have to cut the yarn, but make sure you have a long tail for sewing this part. So I will cut it like this, and then you grab your tapestry needle and then you go through the last stitch with your tapestry needle like this. You pull the yarn through, you can take off the needle and then tighten. Okay, so you see it's quite good secured, and then check your work. And you need the side with only purls. So this one is the stockinette stitch and we need the purl side. So the inside, and then you start sewing. And you can use your purls as an orientation, and you can go all the way through 1 purl here and 1 purl on this side. And then we have to make a knot and to sew in this end. I will shorten it because it's really long. So just pull and cut. And then we'll make a knot. So how to make a knot? You're just going under a stitch like this. And then you go one more time under the stitch. And you have here a very small loop, and you're going 2 times through this loop. Okay, and then tighten. That's your knot. That's okay. And now how to sew in ends. So you just go through the stitches. You can go also through the fiber, through the yarn, in one direction. Okay. And then you skip the first one and then you go back. Like this. So make sure it's loose, it's not anywhere, no tension. And then just cut the yarn. And then you're done. And this is how it looks like on the outside. It looks like this. And you will do this also on the top side. So you will do this also here. So we left here a long tail. Use this yarn because this one which is left is another color, so we can't use it. So that's why I said at the beginning, leave a longer tail. We need this for sewing. And then you're done. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. Watch also other videos. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified about new videos. And until next time, bye bye.